Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing on this transformational Tuesday where we get to align for success and have a midday light and alignment adjustment? Why not? There was a lot going on yesterday with technology and Facebook and Instagram going down. And today everything is back to its natural state. But is it, right? Because our inner world creates our outer world. And today I'm going to have a wonderful conversation with one of my favorite people on this planet. She's a goddess. She is my soul sister, someone that you may or may not know, but you will know right now because I'm going to introduce you to her and you're going to get to realign with the divine through her teachings, through her coachings, and through her retreats. And it is the beautiful goddess, Maya McClean, founder and purpose coach of Light, a transformational company committed to lifting the vibration of humanity through life purpose coaching, healing music, and healing products. She has performed at the Super Bowl 2007 with none other than Prince, considered the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time. And she's here today to talk about her beautiful transformational work. Please help me welcome the goddess, my beautiful sister.
Mhm.
Welcome, Mia.
Hi,
Hi,
beautiful
gorgeous.
introduction. Hey, darling, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm so happy to be together. I'm imagining myself with you in Playa del Carmen.
Yes, I love the backdrop there with the water and the palm trees, and yeah, beautiful.
Exactly. I even added the ocean behind me so I can see. You have the real one and I have like the tapestry, right?
Yep, I'm on my balcony, and this is the jungle out there.
Oh my goodness. Wow. For
Yeah.
people that don't know Playa del Carmen, it's in Quintana Roo, right? By Cozumel and Cancun.
Yes, yes. It's like 45 minutes from Cancun. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh my God. And if you know
Hmm.
Cancun, it's the Caribbean, that warm,
Hmm.
beautiful water. And what
Yes.
inspired you to go over there?
Well, it was kind of where I was ended up in a way. Me and my partner wanted to move out of LA at the top of COVID, and we were considering going back to Australia. So that was where I wanted to go, just back to my family, and I'd been getting called to be there for a while, and then we weren't able to get in because we filed an exemption, and they wouldn't let my partner in. I could go, but we would have had to be in quarantine, and it was a big hassle. So
Oh,
we were like, maybe we can go to Bali, and that's close. And when Australia opens up, we can just jump over there. But then Bali closed their doors to international passports,
oh
so
wow.
I could go, but then my partner couldn't. So then we were like, let's go to Mexico. And I'd been here before. I had a girlfriend that opened up a retreat space down here, and I was considering moving here before actually, but it wasn't the right timing for me. So we ended up just coming down here, and Mexico's open to a lot of different passports and people, and you can stay for a good amount of time. So it's yeah, it's really nice and easy. And I wanted to be in the jungle and in nature, so this is where I ended up.
I didn't realize how jungle
Mhm.
it was. I always think of the ocean and the beach, but it's like lush, like a
Mhm.
Costa Rica type vibe, right?
Yeah, yeah. The jungle's right here, and the ocean's maybe like 15 minutes away, so it's really close. And yeah, beautiful warm waters, which is good for me because I can't stand the cold water. It's my biggest weakness. So I love that.
Ah.
I love the warm water, and we actually did a ceremony. It was like a Mayan ceremony on the beach a couple of weeks ago, and with my sister. Actually, it was really beautiful, and they did some like collective conscious readings and like sensatory circle as well, and then intention settings and purging and releasing. And at the end of it, we all jumped in the water because
I
it was right on the beach. Yeah, and it was a full moon, so we all held hands, walked up to the ocean, opened our eyes, and it was the full moon, and we were stepping into our new selves. Beautiful, and then we just all jumped into the water, and yeah, it was magical. And yeah, these are the type of experiences that happen down here. It's really, really nice. A lot of conscious people, a lot of huge conscious community, lots of people that want to get out of the system, and and don't want to deal with all of the negativity that's in the United States at the moment, and
Right.
a lot of a lot of the racism and just dealing with COVID and all of that. And down here, it's it's feeling really nice and open for people to come and visit and just have different experiences. And of course, we still got to be careful because of COVID. But when you follow the rules and the perimeters, then you can have more experience and there's a lot more freedom. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And I'm sure you can get a lot more clarity and because of the
Mhm,
transformational life coaching work that you do, and you're
mhm.
constantly helping people to realign with their purpose, you need to be at the most centered,
Yes.
grounded, clear place, and being there
Mhm.
probably facilitates that, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very healing environment for sure. So I definitely, recommend coming down, and especially if you connect with a spiritual community. It's just a different world, and yeah, for me that does help because I need to stay in alignment and always, monitor where I am and where I'm coming from, and making sure that I have a clear channel to work with my clients and retreats and workshops and everything. So yeah, it's
I
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I love it. We both share a common mission in the world,
Mhm.
the alignment of really
Mhm.
allowing yourself,
Mhm.
not that we need permission, but allowing yourself the freedom to live
Mhm.
your true life purpose, like what you've come
Yes.
here in this world to do. Can you
Mhm.
talk about what led you to your coaching
Mhm.
practice and to that path?
Yeah, well, I felt like I was kind of always on that path, but it wasn't like a conscious choice. My mum was a huge support for me fulfilling my dreams, and my first dream was to dance with Michael Jackson, and I ended up meeting him in Sydney. That was my first kind of that was one step to me manifesting what I wanted.
Mhm.
And then when I moved to America, I ended up working with Prince instead of Michael Jackson because at that time I started singing, and I feel like I always share with my clients that the universe is kind of rearranging itself for what you need, not just what you want. So
Amen.
sometimes what you want isn't always what you need, or what's in alignment for you. So when we surrender our egos and our mindsets and our projections of what we think our life should be, then we can just be in flow with whatever's calling to us. And so for me, that's what happened ended up working with Prince because he supported female artists more. So we got to sing and dance and choreograph and promote and play guitar and be in music videos, and so that was more in alignment with me moving into my music career at the time. So yeah, it was beautiful. And but then I started doing my own introspective work, and I trained in NLP for 10 years, and really got to understand my own mind and how perception works and how we can, how we project things that aren't real, and then
Yes.
we attach that to our emotional states and then live like that's the truth. So I got to understand myself like that. So I did a lot of that work on myself, and then I began coaching a lot of coaching programs and working with other participants and people that really wanted to attain that. And so I got the opportunity to support them in them aligning themselves and helping them understand what's real for them, through projects as well. So a lot of that was also kind of action based. So then that kind of ended up from that part of the journey. I ended up having a couple of spiritual experiences because the NLP work was a lot of that was kind of more focusing on your mindset, and I think
Right.
it was time for me to experience who we truly are
Right.
outside of the mind. So that the NLP neuro linguistic programming helps with navigating the physical realm, which is equally as important because we're here, right?
Right.
Um, what else are we gonna do?
We have no
Uh,
choice but to be in these dense bodies, right?
right, right. But then integrating the spiritual the real understanding of who we truly are outside of the body is in with that is a perfect fit. So for me, I ended up having a Kundalini awakening. I
Oh.
and that lasted for like 48 hours. It was amazing. I didn't even know what it
Oh.
was when it was happening. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty magical. But I felt like that had tapped me into the experience of oneness and who we are outside of the bodies, and that we're all connected and we're all one energetically. Because it was just an amazing experience. And I didn't even know what it was. I ended up talking to a friend the next day, and shared my experience, and he said, "That sounds like you had a Kundalini awakening." I'm like, what's that? I don't even know what that is. He goes, research it, Google it. So then I started Googling it and then going down rabbit holes of other people having the experience. And like my hands were tingling, my feet were tingling, my legs, the top of my head, like the Kundalini energy was going all the way up and down my spine. And then my experience was that I was still in the body, but my awareness was it was everywhere. And so
Right.
it was amazing. So then from there, I started really diving into my own awareness. I started doing Bhakti Yoga Shala, which is
Oh,
a beautiful kind of practice of yoga and mantras and speaking in Sanskrit. So
did you
that
go to the
kind of
one in
took me on
Santa Monica
it.
right there
Yeah,
by
the Santa
Arizona?
Monica one.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it there. I used to go.
Yeah, yeah, I love them and Radha and Govindas. They're
Oh, yeah.
the two leaders and the teachers there, and they're a beautiful couple. So I kind of went with them, and then that kind of started moving me more into my spirituality and the free space of it all, and really experiencing it. Um, and then I started. I kind of hit a space where actually I did do another NLP program. I was doing a repeat program. And
Mhm.
when I moved into that program, I'd already done it before, but I was at a different place, and I'm in a different level and experience. So actually sent an intention when I reviewed that program, um, that I really wanted to um, pretty much get to the next level or experience whatever's next for me. And
Right.
when I left that program, I pretty much had an energetic awakening in a different way where I could feel humanity. I could feel energy. I was just feeling in a totally different way in my body area rather than just utilizing my mind.
Right.
And then from there, I ended up making the commitment to just listen to my intuition and trust my intuition. And that is all I'm going to do with my life. That's the only way I'm going to live. And I'm going to get rid of my scheduling, my planning, everything that belongs to my mind. And I'm literally just going to dumb down. And I have a kind of practice in my program, in one of my coaching programs, where I call it no mind. Like
Uh-huh.
we're always trying to be so smart, but sometimes our smarts get in the way. Like we know too much instead of just
Exactly.
mentally, instead of just being in the knowing of who we are. Um, so I just literally went into that space, and I woke up in the morning and just let my intuition guide me each moment. If I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there, and then when that whatever that journey's over, then I'll just tune in and tap into myself and see where I'm meant to be from there. So that ended up taking me on a totally different life journey. People kept getting called into different places and different cities, and started offering um, my a transformational healing musical experience that I didn't even know. I didn't even plan what it was either. There was a venue, and I had a guy that I did an interview with. His name's Scott. Is beautiful. I called him my East Coast tour manager. He ended up setting up a location for me after I did this interview with him. He goes, "You got to do an event here." And I said, "Okay." So he was calling me over. He set up the event. I remembered filling out the promotional material for the event. I didn't know what it was. I literally was like, "I'm just going to show up." I didn't know what I was even writing. I just put whatever came to me in the moment, but I still didn't know what it was gonna actually be at the end of the day, because I'm just showing up and letting source guide whatever it is to come through.
Right.
And it's so amazing. You don't have to overthink anything, and you just get guided, and
It's
and
flow instead of
you
hustle,
just
right?
yeah, you're just in the flow. Yeah, or trying to force things or overthink things or make things to happen, or try to do the smart way or the good way or the successful way, or you're just in flow. So that was a beautiful journey for me, because I just showed up at the event, didn't know what I was going to do, and it just was what it was. And it was beautiful and transformative, and I got a lot of beautiful feedback from that event. And then from there, people wanted to work with me as a life coach remotely, because I wasn't always in their cities. So that kind of took me on that journey of working with people remotely online and helping them align to their intuition and connect with their higher selves, and being able to align and live live in alignment with who we truly are, like what you shared in the prayer earlier, our natural state.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
it's such a beautiful place to be. I mean, I did NLP training right before I quit my
Mhm,
job. It was like the universe set it up because they knew if they left me alone with my
mhm,
mind, my ego, that's not my amigo, I would have talked myself out of it. I'd be like, well, what are you doing? You have a government job, you have, health insurance, but it's the NLP work when we were doing the program, we practiced on each other, releasing these limiting beliefs that are like viruses in your computer, right? And they
good.
just pull up the parking brake when
Mhm,
your higher self wants to put your foot on the gas and say, go, don't worry, I'm driving. But it takes, the inner work and to trust your
mhm,
intuition to be able to live from that place. And you had a great opportunity under the mentorship or the partnership with Prince to, see how he flowed, right? To be
mm,
able to know that you could do that, that you could trust your intuition, that it would guide you to the right place at the right time with the
mhm,
right people. But a lot of people
mm,
have fear around that. How can you
mhm,
guide them to let go of that fear and to trust their inner
mhm,
wisdom? Because
mhm,
it is our own inner wisdom. When you're coaching them,
mm,
telling them what to do, you're teaching them, right,
mhm.
to hear their own selves. Am I right?
Yes, yes, yes. So with the meditation is always a good practice to drop in because it helps you get into the practice of quiet in your mind. I'm not sure if you're still there, but let's keep talking until you pop back up.
I was just putting you on the forward. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
still here.
okay. Oh yeah, it's like I'm like, where'd she go? Thought you got disconnected. Yeah. So meditation is definitely a beautiful. You can put me back if you want to do it that way. I don't mind. Yeah. So meditation is always a good practice because it's just gets you in the practice of letting go of your mind and dropping into your being. And
Mm,
but some people in the beginning they're like, oh, my mind, I just can't drop in. I just there's just so much noise going on, and I'm like, yep, that's usually how it is at first because it is a practice. It's like if you try to lift weights, you can't lift weights all the time because you haven't built up your muscle. So you're not going to
right.
be able to lift a certain amount of weight straight away. You've got to work your way up. So what I share with people when they're practicing meditation, which is one beautiful tool, if when you begin, so you're not to get frustrated because I when I started, I I was very aware that I could start getting frustrated with the thoughts. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like I was already in the practice of being wherever I'm at instead of trying to jump ahead to anything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be with my thoughts. I'm just gonna let them be there. And then I
Mm,
started the allowance of even the thoughts flowing while I was in meditation. And then so many good downloads started happening. I got awesome ideas, like creative ideas started coming out, projects, whatever it was at the time. And so I ended up in the beginning, I ended up utilizing meditation as a place to get beautiful ideas. And I allowed those ideas to flow. And I got a pad and then I'll just break my meditation. Oh, that's a good idea. Let me write it down. And then I'd go back
exactly.
in like it was like a channeling session rather than trying to get quiet. So that's a good practice first while you're in the beginning. If you're getting, so not to get frustrated, just be where you're at, utilize what's coming through. Um, and then over time, probably takes me personally about 30 minutes to fully really drop in of
Right.
meditation. And then I can just feel my whole body sink and my mind just switches off and I'm just sitting in the depths of my soul. And it's just, you never want to get out of there. You just want to
No,
live
it's
there.
so yummy.
So good. What am I doing in this physical?
Exactly.
I'm
Why
so
am I here?
excited to go back there when I pass away. So it's a beautiful tap into who we truly are. So that's one tactic. Another practice that I do use that I introduce to my clients as well is being able to listen, like utilizing the feeling of your passion and your excitement, or even that fire or your gut feeling, to be able to, whenever you feel that feeling in your core, and I usually feel it like right in my diaphragm area, right in the center, like the solar plexus area. Whenever I feel that feeling of excitement, it's kind of like an initiation into where I'm supposed to be. It's my guide. Like it's the vibration of my spirit coming alive. So then I better act on that, other because everything else that isn't in alignment with that feeling isn't it.
Right.
So why act unless it's that kind of thing? So that was a beautiful kind of beginning stage for me to start listening to my body, listening to that feeling, that experience of myself as a
And it
vibrational
feels
being.
expansive, doesn't it, when you're in that
Hmm.
place? Like, the
Yep.
distinction that I make is when I'm operating from
Mm,
fear, it usually
yep.
feels contracted and a little bit suffocation
Mm,
and limited, where when I'm
yep.
operating from source, it feels open and just
Open.
wide. I
Yeah.
can't explain it. It's just like a re it just there's no limits. It's unlimited, right?
Limitless. Yeah.
Limitless, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And then also the experience of the feeling of excitement or passion or oh, that feeling, it works as well to turn your mind off, because
Right,
you can't be overthinking and analyzing what you're about to move into when you're in that experience of yourself in that way. So it's
right.
got a double-edged, kind of intention to, oh, my mind isn't even operating right now, and then I've got to act on it. So then the idea is to act on the action as soon as you feel that experience, because then after you don't feel that experience, if you don't act on it in the moment, then you might not even take the action.
It's
So
true.
a beautiful practice to move into that, and
So
then
from
once you've taken.
passion to inspired action.
Yeah, yeah, or passion, excitement. Some of the way that I guide my clients is I have modalities and practices, but I help them make them their own, or sometimes they
Mm,
might discover their own ways of accessing themselves, and then I support them in that. Like, it's not about, that it has to be the way that I see it or what worked for me.
right.
So one of my clients used to use that feeling of excitement or the passion. She called it the quickening.
Oh,
Yeah, and then another girl used it as my butterflies. I'm feeling my butterflies today, and then she's moving into things from that. So yeah, so whatever you want to call it, however it resonates with you, and then move into the action as soon as you feel that calling, whatever that
right,
is for you, and you take action as soon as you feel it. That's the idea. And of course, sometimes you could be at your day job and things
right,
like that, but then okay, as soon as I get the break or I get a moment or whatever, I'm going to make that phone call. I'm going to take that action, or I'm going to write down that idea, or to start grounding it. And then once you've taken the action, then the third step um, is to move into a state of trust. Because
mm,
sometimes we take action and you're like, what did I do that for? Or what was it? Or I called that guy, and now, let's just say you got excited to call someone you've got a crush on.
ooh la la.
Maybe, now I've messaged them, and then you start second guessing yourself. So from
Right,
there, you've got to
right,
move into a state of trust that action that you took is you took it for a reason, and it's in alignment with where you're meant to be, even
right,
if the outcome of the action isn't even what it's meant to be either, what you think it's going to
exactly.
be, but it's getting you onto the path and into that vibrational state that you need to be to align you to whatever is meant for you to come. Like,
Right,
you might get excited to go to the corner store and eat an ice cream, and then you get there and you get an ice cream, and then you bump into someone that you haven't seen in ages, and then that person leads to something else, and you don't know where it's going to take you, but you've just got to
right.
trust that you're getting guided to where you're supposed to be and what's for your greatest good. And then after the fourth step, there's surrender. If you're not
Ah,
experiencing anything or any feeling of excitement, because some people can sit there, I'm not feeling any, I'm not feeling any excitement, I'm not feeling any passion. That's all right. Just sit still, sit back and go move back into surrender,
mm,
and just be. This is Well, what's the point of acting if it's not in alignment?
right,
Then you get to just be in the bliss of yourself instead of even needing to be in manifestation mode or
right.
action mode in the physical realm. And that just drops you into the peace of the stillness. So
Yeah.
I practiced this, and it was hilarious because I was just being and sitting still at my house in Santa Monica at the time. And I don't know what, but I just clients just started coming to me and coming to my house and just sitting in the living room and just being with me. And like, it was just awesome. And I also, at the time, I had an intention of, I just want to be able to create with them with minimal effort, because I'm an
Yes.
action taker. I can get in my brain and just do too much. And I said, my example was, I just want it to go like this. This is how much effort I have to put in. Like, this is the energy, moving my, like a little
I love it.
pinky.
Yes,
All
yes.
I need to do is move my pinky, and then it happens, kind of thing.
Oh, I
So I was
love it.
in that practice at the time. And yeah,
Wow.
it's a beautiful practice. And it's fun too, because all you're focusing on is everything that you care about, everything that feels exciting, everything that brings you joy. So if
Right.
you're in the middle of a fight with your partner, yeah, I'm getting off this topic. What would bring me joy right now? I'm going to go and eat some ice cream, or I'm going to go and do yoga, or I'm going to meet up with a girlfriend, or I'm going to just get off the topic. Get off the topic and move into whatever's in alignment for you, whatever feels exciting. And then that'll help you shift out of the stagnant energy or the resistance or, or the trigger.
And the stagnant energy is really from being up here in the mind,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people out there have ideas for businesses or side projects, and their ego, that's
Mhm.
not their amigo mind chatter, will talk them out.
Mhm.
But your process is shifting
Mhm.
them out
Mhm.
of here, the limited,
Mhm. Yeah.
to the passion, the energy of that
Mhm.
emotion, which takes them into their body,
Yes.
which which is a slippery slope to your soul, right? Because when you're in your
Mhm.
body, you're connected
Mhm.
with all that there is source, then you can
Mhm.
tap into the infinite potential. Can you just
Yeah.
repeat the steps again? I got the passion, I got the
Mhm.
surrender and trust, but I think I'm
Mhm.
missing one.
Action. So there's
Action. Oh,
there's your
okay.
connecting to your highest excitement. That's the word that would work for me. So I started with that.
Oh, highest
So step
excitement.
one is your highest excitement. Listen to your highest excitement and feel it in your core. Take action on it as soon as you feel it. The moment
Uh-huh.
you feel it, drop everything and do that thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
then trust that the action you just took is leading you where you need to be, no matter what the result was. And then surrender. If you're not feeling your excitement at the moment, just be. So they're the four
Instead of
steps.
just taking another action, because I'm like you, like I used to be. I wrote a book about it, like an adrenaline addict. I thought I just need to take action, 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 and do, and
Hmm.
I wasted a whole lot of energy and like completely burnt out.
Mm,
And so
yeah.
I'm not where you are with the pinky yet. I'm still like this, but it's
Yeah.
less than before.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's, and this is what we were talking about last week when we were inspired to do the show, the
Hmm.
shift from the masculine energy, that's let me push and let me make this happen, versus the balancing,
Mm,
also having the feminine energy, which is when you are allowing for the divine downloads and the trusting. And for me, meditation was super difficult, even though I was getting my spiritual counseling license with Reverend Michael, and we'd be forced every class to do meditation before the class started. But I did Kundalini yoga before the class. So that
mm.
was the only thing that could get me. But I know for some people that don't know about the balance of the feminine and the masculine, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So the masculine energy is the pushing and the forcing energy and making things happen, and that's literally the masculine energy has led us in our society. That's why we have built the building I'm sitting in. That's like a masculine construct, right? Even the design of it, kind of thing. So I'm like, I need to get some plants right here, even though I'm in the jungle, but I want plants with me right now. So then
Right.
I just ended up getting plants. So the masculine energy is like that building and that creating, and it also sometimes it doesn't pay attention. It's can people can also collapse the masculine with the ego too. So
Mhm.
there is a bit of a distinction there, not to kind of get collapsed. Um, but sometimes the ego can take over, and then people can kind of collapse that as the same thing, but it's not necessarily the same thing. The ego is when we're not listening to our source energy, but our natural state of flow is more feminine.
So
But
wait,
we
say that again. So the ego is when we're
Mhm.
not listening to our source, because it
Yeah,
edges God good out. So when we're listening to
edges
our
that out.
source, we're not
Hmm.
in ego.
Yeah,
We're in flow.
yeah, we're in flow. We're listening to
Uh-huh.
spirit, and it's all malleable.
Mm,
And
got it.
I believe there's a balance, definitely. But when you can intertwine the balance of the masculine and feminine, then you can kind of build and flow. But then
Mm,
the building isn't coming from a place of destruction or trying to prove something, or or like lack of awareness, but it's integrated with the feminine energy. You know what I mean? And everyone has masculine and feminine inside them. That's why in the spiritual community they have a conversation and language where they say, I'm working on getting into my divine masculine. So the divine
mm,
masculine is bringing the balance of the masculine and feminine in one, like the yin and the yang. Like there's a bit
right,
like the yin and the yang, the black and the white. There's black and
right.
the white and white and the black. So so
Ah,
let's have a look at the masculine. So that you need to add some feminine in to create a union. And people say, I'm marrying my divine masculine and feminine. People have that kind of conversation. And then the same with the feminine. I need to move into my divine feminine. That's bringing the masculine in. Because in the feminine, if you take that too far, you just kind of sit in there, just holding space, and there's nothing happening. And then you're feeling frustrated, and then the masculine energy, you can feel like it's dominating you, and then you don't get your expression. Like for me, when I'd, I moved through, I had to work on my feminine, bring in my
me too.
feminine more in, because I had more masculine.
Me
you
too.
know, and I'm a feminine. My body's a woman, and I did have an interesting conversation with my partner that I'm building a retreat with yesterday, because I was speaking on the masculine and feminine. He goes, I always see you as feminine. And I'm like, okay, because him, and he goes, I guess that's my masculine. Just looking at
Right.
a feminine person of the body,
Right.
but
Right.
energetically, I can
Right.
feel when I'm sitting there trying to dominate or control situations and conversations and projects and all that
And
kind of
build,
stuff. And
right?
build, yeah, and
Yeah.
build. But then if I'm not in that feminine, if I don't have that mixed with the feminine, I'm not even enjoying myself. It's forced. It feels stuck. In my stomach, especially in
Ah.
my stomach, I feel like my stomach's like this, my mind's like this. Like it's just not. It doesn't feel open, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so when I first started practicing moving into my feminine, more into my feminine, I was actually working at a production company in Los Angeles, and it had just happened that everyone that I worked with were all men, and I felt like I was holding a space, and I still had my duties to do and fulfill on in producing and stuff like that. But because there were actual men there, I was holding this beautiful space for the men, and they were all such beautiful guys too. Like I felt like they were all tapped into their feminine in a way
Right.
too. So they had a nice balance of their own, of the masculine and feminine, with being around, and then that, I feel like that assisted to me to move into my feminine, but also hold space for the masculine too, or their
Right.
divine masculine. But then I ended up going too far, and I've got a personal thing that I sometimes you've got to go all the way left to then center, because you got to get
Right.
it. You've really got to integrate it and get it, and then you bring it into the center, and then it's balanced.
That makes sense.
I call it going full retard, and this is from a comedy thing, so it's not it's not being what do you call it?
Politically incorrect.
Politically incorrect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I pulled it from the Tropic Thunder movie, when the character went full retard in his role within the movie,
Uh-huh.
and he took his role too far. So they've got a joke in
Right.
it, say never go full retard because it's too much. So I'd kind of make that joke on myself, that I go full retard into going taking it too far left, and then I've got to integrate it. But that experience was like I was experiencing that I'm not here kind of thing. I'm not in the physical, and it was painful to not even be in existence, or not have any drive. Like I didn't have my mojo kind of thing, because
Right.
I went too far out into the feminine and holding space, so there was no balance there.
Right. They call that airy fairy. That's what Reverend Michael says.
The airy fairy, where
Yeah,
you
when
got no grounding.
you're just like a floated light being and you're not in grounded in. And then you could
Yeah,
get a lot of insights, but then nothing's going to move forward, right?
yeah. And then that became frustrating to my masculine, to like, where are you? Like the other masculine side of myself, get your shit together.
Right, right, right.
Like, can you just come up a bit more, But then it's making the match. So, um, yeah, you've just really got to learn how to balance both of these sides. But you can feel it. You can feel when you're trying to control and dominate conversations and your partner and people and work, and then you can just kind of ease it out, and then you can kind of listen more. But you don't go too far, because then you don't get your voice heard or your needs met.
Right.
So
But
you
you
can.
can feel it because you are very
Mhm,
aware. And
mhm,
also, I think the key is that you're aware from a
mhm,
compassionate place, not from a
mhm,
judgmental place. So you're not judging yourself for being too masculine. You're just like, oh, that's interesting. I was more in that masculine vibration. Let me reel it in a little bit and be more
mhm.
listening and receptive. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you can not even be conscious, even me, and then I'm just going too far in the masculine. I'm like, hang on, this isn't feeling right, and then when I start feeling some pain, then it has me become aware, and I have the awareness of the awareness, but sometimes I'm just not in the awareness of the awareness. But once I get it, and it's a bit tangled. But once I even get it, because we're in the physical form, and we can forget who we are, you know. So then you just got to go, oh, okay, let me go
And
back
and
into
did you
that.
hear you went, "Ah"? I have, every day when I wake up in the morning, instead of
Yeah.
TGIF, I say TGI. Thank God
What's
I'm
TG?
awake, aware, and aligned. Oh, and so that's my
Mm.
intention to be. Not that I am,
Oh,
but I am. That's my intention to be
yeah.
every moment more awake, aware, and
Mm.
aligned so I could catch, okay, Deborah, you're back in adrenaline mode, too much masculine, let's get feminine. And I'll go to like Samba
Mm-hmm.
class, or I'll go to yoga, or I'll walk barefoot on the beach. That's how
Yeah.
I get back into my feminine. Because I'm like you, I'm probably
Mm.
80% masculine, no matter, so
Yeah.
I'm working on being more of at least 60/40. Do you have any tips to
Mm.
get for those of us that are more masculine or more
Mm-hmm.
feminine to get back besides going all the way? Is there any
Mm-hmm.
practices we can do?
Listening is a big deal, but being still and listening in certain situations. Let's just say you're having an argument with your partner, or a bit of something, like if you're feeling off energy with another person. This is to practice with another person too, because that's like a dance. Is to listen to their conversation, but you're not listening from a place of okay, yeah, yeah, or listening from my already always listening, which I'm already thinking about what you're thinking about me from my own perception of myself. You're actually just listening from a higher perspective. Pull yourself out, like just look at their face while they're talking and
Mm.
pull your perspective out. And then you can see where they're coming from. Okay, where are they coming from? Where
Oh,
are
zoom
they?
out.
Zoom your
Oh.
perspective out on the situation. So you're becoming a witness to yourself and them. And then you
Mm.
can feel where they're coming from. And you can start even witnessing other people. You can start to see yourself. Are they coming from their masculine or their feminine, or are they balanced? Does it feel like it's an ebb and flow in the conversation,
Mm.
or are they forcing something? Or do they have a need that needs to be fulfilled for themselves? So you can start to
Mm.
witness others in conversation when you're even with them. And then that will help you see the reflection of yourself. And then when you're speaking to someone, you can take a moment and take a breath. Okay, where am I? Am I being controlling? Am I being too forceful? Or am I just being clear on what I need? And also being generous and listening to what they need.
Mm.
And it always, in most of the energy is in our interactions with humans. Like when we're in nature, that's an easy way to tap in and remind, like what you said, go into nature, put
Right.
your feet on the ground, get grounded, go and do dancing, dress up, be feminine. But that can be all external stuff too. But it's our relationships with other humans that really are the most important environment to practice in too.
Right.
Otherwise,
And the people that
we're
trigger
just
us the most are usually our master teachers. Would you say so?
yeah, yeah. Your triggers are your own reflection of the thoughts of yourself that you have of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very important. So definitely listening and seeing where you are. Like I have an example yesterday. I'm working on these retreats for down here, and I have a partner that I'm working with, and I was in my excitement too much though, and it was more like anxiety with the beginning process of it, and I was pushing, 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 and I'm in action mode, in action mode, in action mode, and then it's too much, and my partner was had some tech issues and was having things that were like um, delayed and traveling that wasn't as in action where I was, kind of thing. And inside, I'm just like, hurry up. And I shared this with him, I'm like, your damn technology's getting in the way. It's
Mercury
Mercury in
retrograde.
retrograde. Yeah. Mercury was in retrograde too. And I was like, okay. And then I caught myself being too forward. Right. And then I just started just dropping in. And then we had a meeting yesterday. And he said, do you feel like you're more in like a inner still place at the moment? Or I said, "Oh yeah, I'm dropping into my feminine," and he called it out. He could feel the
Oh,
difference
he
straight
can
away.
feel the difference. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And then it became more of like it felt more like a co-creation, and we're already co-creating, but my
Mhm.
experience of it felt like a co-creation and
Mhm.
felt like a back and forth. And then I got to, be more vulnerable with him about things that I'm moving through, and then he shared more of himself and his life, and I got to know more about who he is. So energy opened up, and we hadn't had the time, one on one anyway. So we had a
Right.
lot of space and time, but it also me being aware in the conversation of who I'm being, definitely made a huge difference. And I was already shifting into that space anyway. So now where I'm at is marrying my masculine and feminine. So I'm in that place right now of discovering it, and you got to discover it for yourself. Some things you can't be taught. You just got to feel it yourself, and then you can feel when it comes together.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh. I love it. I just love the visual you gave of the pinky. That's going to be anytime I become
Good
a
girl.
maniac, I'm going to hold up my hand. This is what I want you to do, Deborah. This is the energy. Aida's here. She
Mhm.
says, I love this conversation. When you change the way you look at things, the way you look at change. That's Wayne Dyer. I
Thank you.
love that.
Yeah.
Shelly is here. Hi, Shelly. Thanks for
Hi,
sharing.
Shelley.
She
Love
says
you.
she loves it. And then Venus is here sending lots of
Hey,
love as
Venus.
well as Stacy. It's so great. Kim is here. So glad to have you all.
Hey,
Um,
Kim.
so you were talking about the retreat. Is there any thing else
Mhm.
that you want to share about the retreat? Because I know that's something that's exciting coming
Mhm.
in the forefront, that's unfolding with ease and
Yeah.
grace.
Yes, it is. Beautiful downloads yesterday on the retreat. So we're kind of in the beginning of birthing what it's going to be. It's going to be really magical. I'm partnering with a friend of mine that I met down here. He's also American. He's done a lot of work in community, in working with nonprofits. So
Ah,
we were talking yesterday, and I think I'll probably bring him in maybe on a session with you too,
yeah.
if we can do something and share a little bit more. So I'm excited to be working with him, and we've got I think, a nice kind of flow and synergy together. So it's looking like we're going to do a 3 and 4 day retreat, of either December or January, this upcoming December or January, and then we also have an 8 day retreat in March that's coming up next year. So just kind of in the beginning of
Ooh.
those. So we're going to be sending out early bird uh, offerings for that, so we can get people in sooner and you can get a discount and stuff. But as far as the intentions behind it, I'd like to share that when it's more grounded in on what it is. We have kind of like a guide, and the information's kind of coming through of what's needed, and what the medicine that people need to. So yeah, we're excited.
And the best way that people could get the
Mm,
invitation for the early bird is to go to your website and sign up to be on the email list,
mhm,
right? I love
mhm,
your emails, by the way.
mm.
I don't read anybody's emails except yours, and maybe like it's just
Aw,
so good. They're so I love
mm,
them. I love your newsletters.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, beautiful blast of transformation each month. Each month, I love it. Yeah, yeah. So I guess you can email me on my website. I think that'll be the best place. You can sign up for
Mhm.
the newsletters too as soon as you get in. But if you have specific information and you want to know more, or you want to be put on a list to get information about the early bird once we have it up, you can send me an email. My email is actually Maya McClean, like my website, at gmail.com. Or you can go to my website and go under contact and fill out the little form and say, I would like to know more about the retreat. So, and then I'll have your email and I have a list of you that I can send it all out to you. But it's going to be out here in the jungle. You're going to have some beautiful experiences, a lot of intimacy. The nature down here is so healing just in itself. And everyone that comes down here, you end up kind of getting so tapped into yourself that you end up discovering, who you truly are, your purpose, and you become very intuitive. And um, even people that I've met, that you just become healers in your own,
Mm.
through whatever your own expression is. Then this land does that. There's a lot of Mayan heritage down here.
Right.
It's beautiful. Um, oh, Shelley, yeah. So yeah, just the experience in itself to come down here is always magical, and it's beautiful and warm, and the water's perfect. It's
Aida,
just
you have to come. Join us. Shelly's there. I'm there. We are there. It's going to be
yeah,
magical. This necklace is from a
um,
Mayan goddess that I bought. And it was at Isla de las Mujeres, which is right next to Playa del Carmen.
yeah,
The ladies make
beautiful.
these on the beach. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah. They've got so much beautiful art down here. I did pottery class. There's like rope weaving, basket weaving, yoga, meditation, sound healings, medicine ceremonies, cacao ceremonies. There's going to be some
Moon
things we're going to
ceremony.
integrate to moon ceremonies, like so much, everything. Anything that you want and need, is available down here around, healing and getting back in tune with yourself. So it's a magical place. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful place to reset, recalibrate,
Mm-hmm.
realign, balance your
Mm-hmm.
feminine and masculine energy, and then your visions and your goals and
Mm-hmm.
your purpose will
Mm-hmm.
unfold with ease and grace rather than you
Mm-hmm.
having to get it done or feel bad that it's not getting done. It will
Yeah.
just, you'll have the divine downloads and the clarity to be able to
Yeah.
listen to your intuition, have that discernment, what is right, what is not right. And it just, then you can live from the flow, right?
Right, right. I mean, some people that are coming down here, I have a girlfriend of mine. She may be one of the teachers in the retreat, still kind of grounding in the ideas. I did a breathwork class with her, and that was amazing. I've done one breathwork class, and I'm after I did this one, I'm like, why haven't I done more breathwork classes? It's just transcendent.
Oh,
And
really?
her,
I've only done one. Oh, wow.
yeah, I did one with the breath work center, breath center up in Ojai, but
Hmm.
it was online when we were during COVID. I did it when I was in LA, and that was magical. The music that
Wow.
they integrated, I was just in the mother's womb in cocoon and didn't want to be like I just dropped in, and that's a good way to hit that same energy that you can reach with meditation.
Right.
That one was beautiful, and then this girl that could potentially be a teacher, she in the retreat, so she leads breath work, and it was pretty amazing, like beautiful. Her mission is to through the breath work, because a lot of people do plant medicine to attain, opening up the DMT in through your pineal gland.
Mm.
So through the breath work, it does open that up, so you can have awakenings and openings around connecting to yourself and the universe. So that's her
And
mission
that's,
to
is that open the third eye?
yeah, the third eye, it's really the pineal gland that's inside. There's not an
Oh,
eye sitting there, but there's a gland that's in your brain. And so when people use certain plant medicines, there's so many that I'm still learning about. I'm only familiar with like ayahuasca and peyote,
right.
um, and then mushrooms, of course. Everyone knows that from back in the day. But a lot of the plant medicine down here, and all of the plants, and like peyote is a cactus. It's like
Mm.
this cool little weird little cactus thing. So a lot of the shamans and medicine people down here, and indigenous people who have been using plant medicine for years to awaken and cleanse and purge and stuff. Um, so when you take these plant medicines, it opens up the pineal gland, right? And some of the plant medicines have DMT in them, so that opens up your pineal gland because you're taking the thing that's opening it up. But with the breath work, um, her intention is to open up the pineal gland just through the breath naturally. Like we
Oh,
can
that's
open up
nice. I would
the
prefer
natural
that.
DMT, yeah, the DMT in your own body, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was an experience that I had the other day, and that was really nice.
And that's going to be part of the retreat, this the breath work.
It's potentially, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're still burning it
Woo!
down. We're still looking at who and what, but yeah, yeah, things like
So
exercise like that, no plant medicine. That's So I like to offer things that have kind of healed me, like the things that have
right,
the medicine that I give or try to host is things that have been really expansive for me. I've done ayahuasca
right,
and peyote, and they were beautiful, and ayahuasca was amazing. But I've had other experiences that have been more to what I can speak on and what I can kind of guide on, even if I'm not the teacher.
right,
So for me, the plant medicine to host a retreat with plant medicine, that's not where I am at the moment.
right,
Until it's authentic for what I believe that I can make a difference and help guide people through, is what we'll be providing, as well
cool.
as my partner, because he's got other modalities too,
Well, I
healthy
know
eating and stuff.
that people will leave transformed. That's the
Mhm.
bottom line.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait till we announce it. We'll get your partner on here and we'll do a big
Hmm.
announcement. And in the
Yeah.
meantime, everybody can email and looking forward
Hmm.
to it. I feel actually more feminine now. Thank you. Just your energy. I feel
Hmm.
like, ooh, this will be good. I'm about to do a webinar and coaching and then a podcast.
Hmm.
So it's good to come from this place because we
Hmm.
don't need to push so hard. I think that's the message that I always learn from you that we don't need
Yeah.
the old way of struggle and hustle and no sleep and
Mhm.
just grind is gone. We're on a yin yang, masculine, feminine, balance energy program that allows for success, but with ease and grace.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been listening to some teachers online and ground into a lot of high conscious conversations, and it's like our natural state is just peace. We're just in
Right.
the ebb and flow, you know. We don't have
Exactly.
to. We don't have to. It's too much work. Who wants to? No one wants to work. Like, who wants to work? Like, oh,
Exactly.
I've got to go to work. Who wants to work? Well,
Exactly. That's why
I
I
don't
don't
want to
say I'm
work.
working out. I say, oh, I'm going to go play out, or I'm not going to my job. I'm going to my joy. Right? Right?
Right? Yeah. But it's just in our beings. We can just relax. And then when we push too hard, it's just too much. And I'm talking to
Exactly.
myself too, because I'm always need
Yes.
the reminder as well.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, but, yeah, beautiful.
Well, thank you, Goddess, for coming on today. And thank you,
You're
everyone. If you
welcome.
would please, everyone that's listening and loving, please share this. The more people that we have in this world that is aligned, the more transformed our
Mhm.
world is going to be. And that is what our intention is here. That's what we are here to
Yeah.
do. So we're super
Mhm.
grateful for all of you. Thank you so much, my
Mhm.
Goddess sister. I
You're
love you so
welcome.
much.
You
Group hug with everybody. Stacy, Shirley,
everyone.
Aida.
Yeah, everyone. Send you
Community
all my
is
love.
immunity. Community is immunity, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
gorgeous ones. We'll be back
Okay.
soon. Stay
Love you
tuned.
guys. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank
Love from
you.
Mexico.
Ciao, ciao. Aida says, beautiful energy goddesses. Thank you. Awesome. Ciao. Oh, one more thing. I will be back on live today at 6:15. I'm going to be interviewing a
Mm.
wonderful musician, Simon Russell, who's plays with the Pete Escovedo band. You know Pete.
Oh,
All right.
yes.
Ciao, Bella. See you
Beautiful.
tonight, Shelley, Stacy, Aida, 6:15. Bye.